So we have to install this pickup in the neck. I mean, it's already installed in the plate, but we have to wire it up, and because this is second hand, you can see that it's been trimmed very short and it will not reach the control cavity, so we have to extend this. Now we can extend it with regular cloth vintage pushback wire. However, I'm not comfortable doing that with this particular Seymour Duncan, so I've got some braided extension here which we'll have to wire together, and we'll have to bridge the sheaths as well, so I'll do that now. Okay, so I just went to go wire this pickup and I trimmed off the daggy bit, pulled the sheathing back and went to go test it with the multimeter, make sure it's reading some ohms. There we go, 7.4 kilo ohms. But when I was moving the wire like this, it was giving me a short. And if you look right here, we have some damaged threads of that sheathing right there. And one of them has actually penetrated our inner insulation and is touching our cool wires for our hot, and it's giving us a short. So I'll have to take this sheathing off all the way down to here, and which gives me it's already a very small pigtail since we cut off that ugly stuff that was already on the top there. It's going to give us even less, but the sheath all the way up to this point here is still intact and not a problem. But we can't just attach a wire to that to extend it and leave that sheath like that, where it's got the potential to give us a short by poking these very little fine sharp insulation wires. You can see that? So one of them has found their way in there and we can't have that. Okay, so I'm ready to go now. I've got my two wires prepped, so I'm going to solder them on and resheath them and we'll be away. Okay, so we've got this all wired up and we want to check that we haven't introduced a short and that we've removed that short that was in this section of the original wire. So I've got one end connected to the hot and we're just testing the ground. So we've got our 7.4 kilo ohms and that's rock solid. So that's showing us that we've repaired the problem and we're connected and we're still getting good kilo ohms. So this pickup is ready to go into the guitar. So I've got the plate back on. We fed the neck pickup through and we're going to prep this end for wiring to the control panel. So I want to bring some of the sheath back to about here. Just going to use my awl to separate the braiding to give us something to solder onto the back of the pot. So we're not cutting them, we're just unraveling them like so, and we'll twist that together and give us something to solder on. Give them a twist, here we go, that's ready for soldering. So here's our three-way switch. In the bridge position, if you can remember, it's these two here that are connected in the middle and the neck position. So this is where we're going to wire our neck pickup. We've got the neck pickup wired in and onto the back of the pot. It's all done. We've reverted this pickup back to its original form. So we'll wire that in phase, and after we get that done, all we have to do is the jack and we should be ready to go. There we have it, ready to test. Okay, so I've just got it jerry rigged up to the without the switch jack, without the input jack, just onto the cable. But it's enough to test it out. We're in the bridge position, in the neck position. Volume all the way up, tone all the way up. Noise there, nothing there. In the bridge position, nothing there. Getting some tone, some signal there, and of course the middle pickup should have both, which we do. No volume, half volume, full volume, and our tone. Works as well. So we're all good to go there. So what I'm doing here is fitting this jack. When you buy these pre-made bodies, sometimes they don't always, sometimes they don't always fit. So in the case of this one, it was sort of like an oval shape and it was globbed over with finish and whatnot. So we have to open it up like a bell so that we can fit the jack in and have it nice and level and no gaps showing. So I'm just ever so slightly coming in with the barrel sander, just opening it up, making it round so that this fits in nicely. We're almost there. Just still need to take a little bit off the top here and this side here. So we've got it nice and seated in there now. Now we just have to drill the holes and get it all mounted and soldered in. So I've got that all installed, and now we just got to put the tuners in, which we'll do now. Looks like this had cloisons on it before, but the tuners he's given me are just regular Fender double post regulars. Okay, so we're going to use these tuners, and so I've just drilled them out to the correct size, and we're going to fill these holes. And these holes are exposed, so we're just going to use a little wooden dowel that's been sharpened, and we'll glue them in, let them dry, and then we'll cut them off flush with the chisel. Just using regular tight bond. We'll let that dry, and then we'll flush them off with a chisel. Just going to use a nice sharp chisel, run it flat across here. Okay, we're just going to drop a little bit of shellac on those to give them a little bit of colour. So I have to mark these two-prong system on these tuners, and the best way that I've found to do it is to put a little piece of tape in, put all our tuners in gently, get them all level with each other. Now gently push down each one without moving them. You can see that they leave a little impression, which we can then use our awl to transfer it through to the finish. This is my Duresta ice pick I use as an awl. Nice. Okay, going to set the guitar up now. I've already done the neck, given it a preliminary bit of slight back bow. If anything, it's pretty much straight. There's about tooth on either end, which just hopefully with the string tension we'll get about somewhere between 8 to 12 thou, in between 7 and 9 for the neck relief. The neck's already got fall away on it. We do have to set the bridge height completely from scratch. Okay, so this guitar is almost finished. Our setup is all complete. We have the strings in radius on the saddles, the string height complete, the nut height is done, the pickup height is done, and our neck relief is also done. This player likes a really low action, which we've accomplished, especially up here at the nut. It does mean that it will buzz when we strum it really hard, but that's not the kind of player he likes, so I've set it up to his needs. The last thing we have to do is the strap buttons, which just drill some holes and put the strap buttons on, that's no problem. So this guitar is pretty much complete. This is another PartsCaster that we have done. This is a Tele version, and it sounds really lovely actually, and I love this colour, this light blonde finish. It's fantastic. So any questions, don't hesitate to ask me in the doobly-doo down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Cheers.